Are you ready to enter the promised land? Or are you just content spending your life wandering around in the desert?
Come now and let us reason together. Come now, we can talk it over.
Hey guys, Joel's coming at you with another reasoning session. Today I'm going to be giving the example of the children of Israel in their journeys as they're coming into the promised land, and the mindset of some of them that kept them back from actually possessing this land and delaying their entrance by 40 years so that this whole generation actually never even made it in. But if you like these videos, give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button for more like content. This message is getting out, and Source is lining up the people who are ready to receive this message with hearing it. But with that out of the way, I'm going to jump straight into the text. And this comes from the example when the children of Israel sent 12 spies into the land to check it out and to see, whether it was all that it was hyped up to be. And the spies that went in and saw this land, they came back with some really good news. It says that they came unto the brook of Eshcol, and they cut down from there a branch with one cluster of grapes, and they bare it between two upon a staff. This is how big that single cluster of grapes was. And they brought of the pomegranates and of the figs. And then they told Moses and said, We came into the land where you sent us, and surely it flows with milk and honey, and this is the fruit of it. Nevertheless, the people are strong that dwell in the land, and the cities are walled and very great. And moreover, we saw the children of Anak there. Those were literally giants.
Sir, our television audience is dying to know. What did you find in the promised land?
Some rather large chaps, actually.
You mean giants?
Yes, bodacious, really.
Excuse me, but Joshua and Caleb seem to be missing. Didn't they come back with the rest of you?
That bossy Joshua can take care of himself, but Caleb's quite old, isn't he?
Why didn't you wait for Joshua and Caleb?
Oh, here they come. What in the world are they carrying?
Wow. What are these?
Grapes, aren't they great? You're gonna love the promised land. Just look at how big this fruit is.
Wow.
Too big. Probably bitter. We're all gonna get indigestion,
But the others said there were giants in the land.
So they came back with all this good news, but they had a very limited mentality, and they said, you know what? As good as this land looks, we can't take it. And Caleb, who is one of these 12 spies, stilled the people before Moses and said, Let us go up at once and possess it, for we are well able to overcome it. But the men that went up with him said, We are not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than us. And they brought up an evil report of the land which they had searched unto the children of Israel, saying, The land through which we have gone to search it is a land that eats up the inhabitants thereof. And all the people that we saw in it are men of great stature. And there we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants, and we were in our own sight as grasshoppers. And so we were in their sight. So literally they gave it away. They said, in our sight we are grasshoppers, and therefore in their sight we also appear as grasshoppers. It starts in their own mentality. But Joshua the son of Nun and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, which were of them that searched the land, tore their clothes. And they spoke unto all the company of the children of Israel, saying, The land which we passed through to search is an exceeding good land. If Yahweh delight in us, then he will bring us into this land and give it us, a land which flows with milk and honey. Only rebel not against Yahweh, neither fear ye the people of the land, for they are bread for us. We will literally eat them up. Their defenses departed from them, and Yahweh is with us. Fear them not. But all the congregation bade stone them with stones. So they don't even want to hear the good news. Their mindset is set. And that's the thing I want to point out, even if the good news comes to us, are we going to transition into that better way of life? Or are we going to hold back in, lockdown Stockholm syndrome? Are we so used to the oppression that we just don't want to move forward into the new era of freedom and the new way of doing things? And this sickness literally spread like a wildfire throughout the congregation, and they all lifted up their voice and cried, and the people wept that night. And all the children children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron. And the whole congregation said unto them, Would Elohim that we had died in the land of Egypt, or would Elohim we had died in this wilderness? You know, so you got to be careful of what you wish for, because look what Yahweh literally tells Moses right after that. How long shall I bear with this evil congregation which murmur against me? Say unto them, As truly as I live, says Yahweh, as you have spoken in my ears, so will I do to you. Your carcasses shall fall in this wilderness, and all that were numbered of you, according to your whole number, from 20 years old and upwards, which have murmured against me, doubtless you shall not come into the land, concerning which I swear to make you dwell therein, save Caleb the son of Jephunneh, and Joshua the son of Nun. These were the two spies that actually tried to convince the people that, you know, they could take the land. But as for you, your carcasses, they shall fall in this wilderness, and your children shall wander in the wilderness 40 years. After the number of the days in which you search the land, even 40 days, each day for a year shall you bear your iniquities, even 40 years, and you shall know my breach of promise. So if you add 40 years to that 20 minimum age, you come up that nobody past the age of 60 actually made it into the promised land. But Caleb, because of his optimism, he made it in when he was 83. So that just goes to show that you can manifest contrary to the trends. Do we really want to live our lives out in the desert? Or would you rather live in gardens, you know, where there are fountains and plants and oasis? You know, here in southern Alberta, we have the Badlands. You're driving through like Drumheller and such, and it's like literal desert. It's a wilderness. You know, and you literally have to know either where the oasis are or bring your own water bottle, because there's no way you can survive even more than a day out there without any water. But in a land that's overflowing with abundance, that's literally not just overflowing with water, but that the cattle are so abundant that it's overflowing with milk, you know, and the produce is so abundant that it's overflowing with honey. We're talking abundance to the nth degree here. And that's the kind of life that Source has lined up for us. But we have to be able to accept it. We have to be able to move into that state of awareness and actually embody that state and not justify, you know, our oppression or whatever's holding us back. In the Oracles of Yirmiyahu even says, Therefore they shall come and sing in the height of Zion, and shall flow together to the goodness of Yahweh for wheat, and for wine, and for oil, and for the young of the flock and of the herd, and their souls shall be as the watered garden, and they shall not sorrow any more at all. You know, and that even parallels to the oracles of Joel, where he says, And the floors shall be full of wheat, and the fat shall overflow with wine and oil. And I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten, the cankerworm and the caterpillar and the palmer worm, my great army which I sent among you. And you shall eat in plenty and be satisfied, and praise the name of Yahweh your God that has dealt wondrously with you, and my people shall never be ashamed. And he repeats that in the next verse also. And when Source repeats something, man, you better pay attention. But in order to not be ashamed, you have to not have that mentality of shame in you. You have to release that mentality of the servitude and the slavehood that the children of Israel were carrying around in the desert. Literally, the people that were raised in slavehood couldn't enter a state of freedom where they had their own land, where they actually embodied this form of abundance. So don't get held back in these paradigms, because as we move forward in a new form of society, we can't rely on the same things that are telling us the same old narratives, because that system is what's falling away. We're literally bringing to pass a new system that's literally the kingdom of heaven being manifest in the earth. But in order to do that, we have to embody the kingdom of heaven mentality. We can't embody that dark space and expect to move forward into a light space. We have to be the change we want to see in the world, start on our own individual levels, and as we shine that light outward, other people will be magnetized to what we're projecting into the world around us. So step up and tap into Source and really embody that state of infinite possibilities, wherewith you too can manifest your dream life and create the utopia that we know we've come here to experience. So I love you guys. I'll check you in the next reasoning sesh. Joel signing out once again. Agape. Salaam. Namaste. Shalom.